What's up, everybody? Silver here with another Halo Master Chief Collection Achievement Guide. This time we're doing Leave None Alive, which is in Halo 2, beat the par score on the Oracle. So this is the 5th playable level, aside from the Armory where you're just walking around. This is the 2nd playable level as the Arbiter. So however you feel about that will dictate, how much you enjoy this level. I hate this level, not because I'm the Arbiter, but because it is my least favorite level. But why is it my least favorite level? Probably because I'm stuck on an elevator for the first 15 minutes of this whole level. Really annoying. I'm just going to stand there a lot and sword a bunch of people. But anyway, enough whining about the, levels that I don't like. Let's get down to it. I have 2 skulls on, I believe. Yeah, 2 skulls. One is Thunderstorm, so it upgrades all the ranks of all the enemies, but we're only fighting Flood, really, in this level, and some Sentinels. So who cares about the ranks? And also Jacked, which is... it disallows you from getting into vehicles. It does not allow you to get into vehicles, ground vehicles, unless you're boarding them. So that is annoying in vehicle levels, but in this one it's totally fine. There's no vehicles that we have to get into except for the Banshee, but that's an air vehicle, so it does not apply to that. So those are 2 kind of free, cheap ways to get your score up. Obviously, the more skulls you have on, the more points you get for every kill, so that's something to consider. I did have catch on, but in one of my previous playthroughs, my elite friends in the beginning here were just killing me by throwing a bunch of grenades at all these enemies, so I decided against that. You'll notice that I left the 5 the 5 combat forms alive. Normally I slice and break up and destroy their bodies before the infection forms get to them and revive them. But in this case, since we're going for points, I decided to leave them there, and then you could easily just swipe them while they're reanimating on the ground there. So you saw I got a couple there, so I got a few points already. The infection forms themselves, the tiny little popcorn-like Flood, do not have any point values, unfortunately. I am playing this on Legendary, obviously, so I get the most points for every kill. I swapped out for a fresh sword, and I grabbed the carbine in that room. So jump into here, and you want to take out all the Flood forms first. I usually work from left to right, like you saw there. They were kind of towards the middle this time around, but they're in random places each time. And then there's a bunch of Sentinels. There's 2 or 3 around the ground level, whatever the ground level means when you're in an elevator. And then there's a bunch coming down from the top, which you can see I was shooting at just there. So this part you want to be careful because A, the Sentinels and Flood forms are fighting against you, but B, you don't want to get stuck by any of your teammates, and C, you don't want to get smacked by any of your teammates, because the elites on your team will actually try to melee the Flood, and if you dive in there with your sword and like slice a Flood form in the middle of your elite ally, smacking him as well, he could just beat you over the head and kill you in one hit. So that's not cool when that happens. It's very frustrating. So try to stay away from sorting any Flood forms that are right up next to your elite friend for that reason. So this is the part that I hate. It's the worst part of the game, I think. There are tougher parts like Gravemind in general. Gravemind's probably the toughest level, but this one I think is the most tedious and boring and annoying just because we have to stand on this elevator for hecka long and just fight all these Flood forms that drop down. I'm cool with fighting Flood, but especially if I have a sword. But not when I'm just standing here the whole time, waiting for the elevator to drop down far enough where I could just leave. So you want to be on the lookout up there. That's where they come down from. So you could actually shoot and kill them before they even jump down at you, which is a good thing to do because of the fact that you're going to run out of sword ammo if you only rely on the sword. So you want to try to take people out with the carbine before they even get down on the elevator with you. So you just want to keep your eye in the upper left and upper right because that is where all of the Flood come from. This time they're a little bit lower. The elevator drops over the course of this little section of the level, and eventually it drops far enough so that you can get off down below and proceed through the rest of the level. So right now we're just doing what I described, just waiting around, hoping the elevator will speed up its descent, but there's really no way to speed it up, which is pretty frustrating for many reasons. So I can see there's a carbine fresh below me, so I'm just using as much carbine as I can right now because I have not anymore. I used up all that carbine. There was a carbine down at my feet, so I kept replenishing my ammo as I used it, so that was nice for a time while it was happening. This elite is still alive, helping me out, which is nice in some ways, not nice in other ways, because like I said, he could beat you over the head or stick you. if you're not careful. You can see I'm kind of slashing at him anyway. I'm not taking my own advice, but, you know, you could do that if you want. You could take my advice if you'd like. This point, there's obviously more Sentinels that come in. They're pretty easy to take out with a carbine. Just shoot a random burst of carbine shots at them, and it should take them out pretty quickly. Another thing to note is you are the Arbiter, so you do have, I was about to say invincibility. You have invisibility, which makes it so that people can't see you, because that's what invisibility means. So you want to use that when you are low on shield, because obviously they won't be able to see you, and they won't shoot at you, and they won't try to smack you. They will try to smack you if you're like right up next to them with invisibility, so don't just walk straight up to them and, you know, kind of start humping the ground in front of them or anything. They will sense that. They do have teabag sense. So don't touch them, obviously. If you run into them, they'll immediately be aware of your location. You could use plasma grenades like that too. It's risky because they run at you a lot of the time when you stick them. So you're probably better off trying to stick them when they're up on top still, before they jump down onto the elevator with you. But I decided to stick that one. Kind of risky. And we're just doing the same old thing. Also, if you're getting shot at, I don't advise activating invisibility right away as you're getting shot, because obviously if one bullet hits you after you activate the camo will run out. So you'll become exposed. So this part, sufficiently far down enough, almost, that I could drop down the rest of the way. You could drop down off the sides. And once you're down far enough, you could do this. If you're not far enough down yet, the death barrier will still be too high. So at this point, I can see, I'm looking through the floor, that doorway is green. So I know this is the correct side. If I looked and I saw the doorway was lit up red, that would be the wrong side, and you want to go to the opposite side. There is a doorway on the other side, but it is locked, so obviously you'd be out of luck if you drop down over there. You'd probably have to just wait for the elevator to come all the way down, and then you could run across the elevator, but no time for that. This level, or not this level, this part is also annoying. I hate this part as well, because you're just standing in this room the whole time, waiting for all the flood to come at you. So basically, this level starts off, you're standing around for 2 minutes waiting for the infection forms to come at you. Then you move on to an elevator, and you wait for a bunch of combat forms to fall on you while you could do nothing but stand there and wait for them to come at you. And now we've moved on to this room, where pretty much the same thing. You're in this room, waiting for the flood to come at you. Not my idea of a fun level. I'm sure it's somebody's favorite level, but their opinion would be wrong. It would not be factually correct if they said this was the best level. So anyway, there are a bunch of swords actually in this room. There's like 3 or 4 maybe swords that are fully charged in this room, lying on the ground. There's one right in front of me right now. I picked up one previously. There's another one around the edges of this room. Once you clear out this middle section, whoa, didn't think I was going to make that jump, but I did. There are carbine-wielding elites that come through on this upper level where you came from initially. So that's where those guys came from. And pretty much from now on, there's just going to be a bunch of flood. No more elites until the way end. Well, there's those elites on the ground. That's part of the wave of people I was just dealing with up here. Activate that camo. If you have no shield, one infection form could kill you, which is really annoying. They just latch onto you and kill you. So watch out for that. When you have no shield, don't just take those infection forms lightly. I'm sure you've seen me throw a plasma grenade randomly at certain points and just back up, and then the infection forms just walk into it. So that's a good way to get rid of a bunch of infection forms at once. So right now I'm BXBing. That is a button glitch. So I'm just hitting melee, reload, melee over and over and over again. So melee, reload, melee, reload, melee, reload, etc. And that allows you to smack much more quickly. And you can see that since the elites become stunned right when you smack them, it's very effective. They never recover if you just keep BXBing them. They will die, and no risk to you once they're in that animation of being stunned. So it's very easy to do, actually. As long as they don't have a sword, because they could get that first hit in, obviously, and kill you. You can see I jumped up here. This is a good spot to go because there's those 4 combat forms just laying on the ground. That's why they were not attacking me. They're actually scripted to not attack. They don't have any AI. They just stand there. One was standing up for some reason, which is very weird. Normally all 4 are writhing around on the ground, surrounding that skull that I shot at. That is the famine skull, if you're looking for that. If you're looking for any of the other skulls in Halo 2 or any of the other games, I have guides up for all of the skulls in the Master Chief Collection, so check that out. Shameless plug. Gotta fill up some time in this room, since it's just killing a bunch of Flood with a sword for the most part. Obviously, do not go out into the middle of the room too much when you could avoid it, because you don't want to get surrounded. Also, I'm in the middle of the room right now, just totally ignoring my own advice, of course. But stick to the sides as much as you can, and obviously do not run at a bunch of enemies at once. You want to try to thin them out, so run away from them for the most part, and then when you get one singled out, just go after him, because if you have two back-to-back that you're going at, you'll kill the first one, and then the other one has a great opportunity to just smack you over the head and kill you. They could kill you in one hit, so do not try to engage two at once if they're too close together. At this point, after you've been in here long enough, there will be a wave of grunts and elites that come out of this doorway. Apparently one is still alive. Where's he at? At this point, I'm just going for more sword, I believe. I think I didn't pick up a sword yet. Yeah. So kill that elite, or that grunt rather. You see another one of those plasma grenades for those infection forms. Fresh sword, fresh carbine, and I'm going to the next section. So this room, you just have to wait a little bit. It's kind of a load zone. They did it pretty creatively, actually. It's like a pressure, repressuring chamber, pressurization chamber. They gotta wait in. It's a very neat way of hiding the fact that it's a load zone. So at this point, there's two carrier forms, a bunch of infection forms, and a combat form. They're kind of distracted by the grunts ahead, though. So most of them will go after those grunts. Not these infection forms, though, apparently. You want to stay away from those infection forms, not because they're particularly dangerous to you. They could take your shield down and kill you, but of the fact that the phantom that is on your side actually shoots at them and can kill you. They've killed me as well before, so that's not cool ever. At this point, there's those two elites. I stuck one, then cloaked myself and went around the other side of one of these barriers and killed the other. You could always headshot the grunts with your carbine, very easy. And we're moving up. There are sentinels that come at you from the right side eventually, right about here. But if you keep moving forward pretty quickly, and oh my god, I forgot the elites were right there. I was paying attention to straight ahead of me, not to the sides. But these two are on the side, so be aware of that. Do not do what I did there. That was very reckless and risky. And this is the point where the sentinels come at you from the right side, like I was mentioning. This one's rising up from the bottom. There's only two there. I thought there were more, but maybe not. And then you can see more enemies just spawned there in this doorway, which is where we need to go. So I cloaked myself, assassinated that guy. Now that other elite is engaged with one of my elite buddies. And there he is. He's hiding behind that pillar. Got him. Got him. So here we go. This is pretty much the last area where we need to actually be good at this game. And we don't really have to be that good. So shoot and kill. There's like 2 or 3 sentinels in this area and 2 or 3 combat forms, flood combat forms. So it's a pretty easy section. Take out the sentinels with your carbine like we've been doing, and take out the flood forms with a sword for the most part, and then it will activate the cutscene once everyone's dead in here. Skipped it, and now we're going to make our way up. You can go to the right here and jump up here. It's a very easy jump, and then jump up through here. Kind of skips some of it, some of the pathway up here. Makes it a little bit quicker. And at this point, there's 4 combat forms that come out of that doorway. You could take your time a little bit more here. I'm being very quick about this, and more risky, obviously. But there's 3 sentinels up there as well that start shooting at you. So at this point, this is the big trick in this level, one of the biggest tricks in this game. You want to go up. Don't activate this elevator when you're standing on it. Activate it behind the console, and then activate it again from the front. It will cause the elevator to go up and then come back down and then seemingly crush you, but you actually get launched straight up the shaft and into the air, and you'll land pretty much right here if you press forward a little bit. And you are now invincible, actually. I know I mixed up the words invisible and invincible earlier in this video, but I am not mistaken when I say you are now invincible for the rest of this level. The only way you can die or screw this up is if you just fall off the map. And that would just be an eternal hell of not dying. I'm not sure if you do die from fall damage or the fall timer in this game when you're invincible. But let's not try it, shall we? I have fallen down a hole and not been able to get back up. So that's not cool. So at this point, you're invincible. So, you know, have at it. I'll show you more later about how I could take infinite hits with this invincibility on. How does the glitch work? I have no idea. I don't care. It works. It works like a charm every time. Very easy to do. There's no trick. I just stood under the elevator. You don't need to stand under it in a particular position or anything. You don't have to be lined up in a particular spot or crouching or not crouching. You just do whatever you want. You will get launched up and be invincible. There is one thing you ought to know about this, though, and we're going to get to that in a second. So I'm kind of taking my time just racking up a bunch of points. I probably should have mentioned how many points you need to get par score. It is 16,000 for this level. So you can see we are pretty much at that right now. We're totally good, and we're just moving on. We will get a time bonus as well if we finish this quick enough. So we'll get back to that time bonus in a second, but I do want to mention when you cut the third cable, you want to immediately run to the center here, get to the hole and count 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and then jump down. Well, don't jump down, just walk off, and you'll fall down. And the reason for this is there is an odd kind of secondary glitch that happens when you are invincible in this segment. It plays really oddly with the gravitational forces. You can see I'm floating down rather than falling down. So you don't want to ever jump at this point because you'll just go flying and it'll be difficult to get back down where you want to be. So no jumping, no falling down bottomless pits, no falling down even pits with bottoms because you simply can't get back up. And if you're not going to die due to invincibility, you don't want to be stuck in a bottomless pit or a bottom full pit and unable to die. That would be terrible. So don't do that. Obviously, there's no real need to jump anymore because we're invincible. It's not like we got to dodge enemies or anything. You can see the sword guy going to town on me, and I don't care. I sped this part up a little bit because really there's nothing to explain. I also don't ever kill these banshees. I killed 3 of them, and they're worth a good amount of points. If you still are in need of points, those banshees in that segment are a good source for points. But again, you don't really need to do that probably. I didn't need to do that, but I did it anyway, so I cut that part out because it was kind of lengthy due to the fact that Thunderstorm was on and all of the gravitational nonsense was making my shots fire weird. So, cut that out. It was like a minute of just a Banshee fight, and I was invincible, so it's not interesting at all. So this whole instance, the gravity is now normal again, by the way, after the Banshee fight, or the Banshee segment, which you could just literally sprint to the end in like 2 seconds. But you can see I'm killing enemies. There's no need to kill these enemies. I'm well over the score at this point, but I'm just showing you some more enemies in case you're not over the score. Going back to the par time bonus, or the speed bonus, time bonus, whatever you want to call it, there is a bonus for finishing a level in a certain amount of time. So it is a 3 times multiplier if you finish in the par time or under the par time. Once you go over the par time, it starts going down to 1 and then eventually 0. So if you take a ton of time, it will go down to 0, so that's not cool. But we're at the end here. We are just battling Cesarefumi, aka the Heretic leader. And he is up on top of this Seraph at first. Don't be distracted by those 2 holograms. He is up on top of the Seraph. And you could kill him in however way you want, really. There's no way you could go wrong since you're invincible. Just stand on top of the Seraph to make it quicker, and he will be in one of these 4 holes on the wall. You can see he was in that one at this point, and I just shot him enough so he's hurt, and he's going back to replenish himself, or get himself together, rejuvenate himself, and there he is for this one. He's always in one of these 4 holes. He flies back into them after you hurt him, and then he'll come back out of one of these 4. So shooting him with a carbine, his shield pops, so he's going back in. And now we just need to hit him one more time. You have to damage him 4 times in all. So just waiting for him to come out for the final time so we could hurt him and go to the cutscene and end the level and get our lovely achievement. I would like to say right now before this ends that I did die a bunch of times actually in the section after the elevator shaft. So even if you die a bunch, you could still easily get the par time, or the par score rather, for this level. But that is it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Click like and subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you later for more achievements.